always say it out of order, so I'm so sorry about that. And welcome to the Bridge Broadcast Show. I am your host, Tina Boyle Whyte, and you have just come to the Bridge Broadcast Show, where we aim to get you from where you are to where you want and need to be. And we focus on three different areas: spirit, soul, and body. And so in that and everything that we do here at the Bridge Broadcast Show, it's really helping to hit one of those three areas to get you from one side to the next. So if it's spiritual side, get you from one side of the spiritual side to the next in spiritual transformation. If it's the soul side, get you from one side to the other, transforming your soul. And that's essentially your mind, will, and emotions. And the third thing is your body. So getting you from one point to the next point. So those are the three things we do here at the Bridge Broadcast Show. And we couldn't do anything that we do here at the Bridge Broadcast Show without having the support of our parent network, WYTV7.org, where they are a great host of people serving us so that we can serve you. So thank you, WYTV7. Now, if you haven't been with me for the last couple of weeks, I've been doing a series on emotional capacity. And, you know, it's I'm reading the book. This is the book that I'm reading. John C. Maxwell, No Limits, Blow the Cap Off Your Capacity. And for those of you who are just watching me for the first time or haven't seen me throughout any of the videos, I encourage you to check out our videos from the beginning of the year. It's been an amazing year. This is my second season. And the first season was really about spiritual transformation. This season, this second season is really about transforming your soul. And so we really desire to get you across the bridge, get you in that transformation mode, get you in that place where you are experiencing life how you want to experience it. And so I'm really excited because this book has been so amazing. The thing about John C. Maxwell, he is one of my major mentors. I have several mentors, and John C. Maxwell is one of them. And so I'm just really happy to be able to share this book with you as I've been reading and as I've been giving it to you. Every time I read it and I get something new, that I give it to you, I get something new. And it's not just for you, my audience, which I do thank you for being here, listening, sharing, commenting, talking to me, reaching out to me at tinaboylewhyte.com or on Facebook. I really appreciate that connection with you. And so I'm excited. I haven't said that this show, but I'm excited that you're here with me. And so we have, let me see, let's go on this journey. We have already done emotional capacity, and we've done emotional capacity. Number one, emotionally strong people are proactive in dealing with their emotions. And so if you haven't been with me, emotional capacity is your ability to handle your emotions, how things limit it. And as he's talking about no limits in this book, emotional capacity is one of the things that you have. And so we started, you would have to go back and look at, where does emotional capacity fit in this? And we started with the equation that John Maxwell mentions, the equation that capacity equals awareness plus ability plus choices. And so we are in the capacity levels, and we're just doing all the emotional capacities. It's a great book if you want to pick it up. I do encourage you to pick it up. And so in the first part of the book, it was really about awareness. And then the second part is your ability. Develop the capacities you already possess. So we know you already possess the capacity, to manage different things, but we're giving you a few tips to just make you even better. And so the first one that I talked about was energy capacity, your ability to push on physically. And then I went right into emotional capacity, your ability to manage your emotions. And though we know you can, some of us just need reminders as to how we can do it. And so he brings out like 7 points, as you see. He brings out 7 points. And again, the first point was emotionally strong people are proactive with their emotions. Number 2, emotionally strong people do not waste time feeling sorry for themselves. That's an easy place for us to go and to find ourselves being. Emotionally strong people do not allow others to control their relationships. I talked about that on the last show if you want to know more about that. Emotionally strong people do not waste energy on things that they can't control. I talked last time about the serenity prayer. God, give me strength to handle the things that, I can and be okay with the things that I can't. And so essentially, really having that ability to master your emotions as it relates to the things that you're dealing with emotionally. And so this week I am, let me move that up a little bit. This week, let's see here. Okay, so that's fit. So you can see both all the way to 7. So I'm going to move this down a little bit and really hit on this emotional capacity. So we have 3 points that will make that will help us to finish off this chapter. And you know what? The reason I've taken time on this is because many people struggle with this, and it's been so important to really just kind of meditate and be in that place. And so number 5 is no different. Emotionally strong people do not keep making the same mistakes. And he starts off the chapter by saying, it has been said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over, but expecting different results. And I can just go in right there and talk about something, as we're going to be talking about the body, either sometime in the latter part of the season or upcoming season. And so it's really doing the same thing over, but expecting different results. And so myself, I just, it's just a place of transparency that I have to be with you, the audience. So sugar, who doesn't love sugar? I love sugar. I love sweet. Somebody called me a sweet tooth. And so here at home, here in Wisconsin, we have custard everywhere. I mean, we have a place called Roberts. We have a place called, it's just everywhere. And the custard is unlike any other place in the country. I've not gone any place and had custard like Wisconsin does. Wisconsin just really, and it's a thick ice cream. It's a thick, creamy ice cream that is so good. See, I'm getting excited even just talking about it. But you find me a good strawberry pecan sundae, and I'm just in delight. But here's the problem with that. The problem with that is that if I said I want to be healthy, first of all, I have to think about the impact of, first of all, the sugar, the dairy, and just, everything else that goes along with you altering your diet. And so this is no conviction to anybody else. This is my own experience. And I love cakes, pies, candies, you name it. I just love sweet stuff. However, the doctor told me, and like I said, we'll be talking about the body. The doctor told me that your blood sugar level is too high. Eating a lot of bread. I was eating a lot of bread. Just a lot of carbs. And so he said the blood sugar is too high. If you don't change your habits, you're going to be placed on insulin. And at that point, I made the decision, a very decisive decision, to say, hold up. I don't want insulin. I don't want to have to control externally my blood sugar. So I need to dial back. Oh my God, I forgot to tell you. Oh, I had this love for Mountain Dew. Shame on me. Okay, no shame. It was something I did it. I owned it, and so I just lived there. But anyway, so Mountain Dew's, Speedway, we have Speedway, and just 99-cent big jug and just gouging it. You can't do that. You can't do that. And so someone told me once, forever on the lips is forever on the hips. And so not only is it on your hips, there's an internal impact on your body for things that you put in your body. You know, even though I'm not talking about the body, I want you to think about that. Emotionally strong people don't keep making the same mistakes. And so even though the drink was 99 cents, I had to dial that back. And so what did I do now? What do I do now? I often find myself, I just discovered this, flying in a plane. It's like, how can you not deny a soda when they're coming up and asking you, do you want a soda? Or do you want peanuts and pretzels and whatnot? And recently, just the other day, I flew and they gave me pretzels and a little Ritz cracker. And I'm thinking about this choice I'm making. I had to tell them, thank you. Can I have a seltzer water and a lime, please? And having the feeling of fizzy really just made me feel like I was at least drinking a soda, but I wasn't drinking a soda. And so, you know, it's little things like that I begin to, now that I'm making the shift, I'm beginning to change. And so we'll be talking about that in days to come. This is a choice that I had to make if I wanted to live. I don't want any limbs taken off. I don't want to have to deal with kidneys and problems in the future, because diabetes is an epidemic in the world. I'll just put it like that. And so I just read something that in the Middle East, there's an epidemic outbreak of diabetes. I know in South America, I know in Mexico, in America, it is a problem. And so this is the choice. And so I said, he goes on to say, when you think about it logically, we should expect the same results from the same actions, yet people find themselves in ruts doing what they've always done, wishing for a different result. And so what am I doing now? Seltzer water, lemon and lime. If I want the flavor of a Sprite, I don't need all the almost 60 grams of sugar. I don't need that. And so that is just killing my body, and I do not want to kill my body any longer. That's just me, and you make it the choice for you. But I find it not a pleasant thing going to see the doctor and the doctor telling me things of choices that I'm making. And so we'll talk about that during this series on the body. Okay, he says, one of the ways successful people keep their emotional capacity high is avoiding falling into this trap. Sure, they make mistakes, but they take time to learn from them. They don't follow the old rule of business, which says when it's over, it's over. Instead, they follow a different rule. It's not over until you learn from it. And so how are we learning from it? You're really taking some time to begin to realize. He goes on to say, reflection turns experience into insight. And so when you have something you learn from and you have a reflective moment, really it's reflection turns experience into insight. It really is. Acting on this belief has helped John gain wisdom, and maintain a high emotional capacity. And he said, how do I do that? And so reflection for him has become a tool. And he says he reviews by himself. Each day he has this practice. What mistakes did I make today? I do this because my mistakes are fertile ground for learning. That's beautiful. You know, I reflect. I have a journal, but I need to do that. And I would encourage you to do that. Like, what mistakes did I make today? You know, sometimes we think that making mistakes and failures is a bad thing, but actually it's a really good thing. I'm really hoping to hear from some of you as to how you turn things around. Emotionally strong people don't look first at themselves and what they need to change when reflecting. They look at themselves first. So you don't look at anybody else. This is not any encounter with anybody else, but this is an encounter with you. They don't focus on what others or their circumstances. So after you identify the mistake, you say, what can I learn from the mistake that I made today? What did I do wrong today? How can I learn from it? And then he talks to himself. So first of all, he reviewed himself, and then he think to himself, and then he talked to himself. This is where a coach can this is where we can coach ourselves to remain positive while looking at the negative. So, it's like, okay, all right, what did I do today? How did it impact my life? What did I do wrong? And then I begin to coach my own self and say, okay, you know what? That was a bad choice. How can I do that differently? Either I can go this way or that way. There's only two alternatives that I could really take on that situation. And then he says the last two things is he direct himself. After you coach yourself, you direct yourself. You look at the mistakes and then you observe them and you learn from what did I do wrong. You determine the right direction, and I need to go and leave the mistake behind. This should go on my I should list. And so that's exactly what I was saying. He went right into that before I said what he said. You look at it and look at the alternatives of what should you do. And then you take action. So emotionally strong people are honest with themselves. The discipline and reflection is what I do to try to keep myself honest. That's important because, as he states, a poet, James Russell Lowell, says, no one can produce great things who is not thoroughly sincere in dealing with himself. Oh my God. So when you think about that, you think about, any health challenges. I had to come and think about my own self. I had to, in this season of physical, walking through my physical challenges, I have to come to myself and say, okay, what role did I play in this? Okay, sugar baby, like, let's bring this to a halt. Let's start exercising. Let's get in the gym. Let's start walking. Let's do something different. Let's park far back. What actions are you going to take? And then really looking at this and saying, you know what, nobody did this to Tina but Tina. So that's where I'm at. I'm looking to grow. I'm looking to learn from my mistakes and looking to develop myself beyond where I'm at. And it's okay. Because I can get back up. And sometimes we find ourselves in a place of shame or condemnation as to things that we've done. But it's important that you don't fall into a pit because, then that becomes another place where your mind is tormented. And as we're talking about emotionally strong people, we don't want to be in a place of torment, shame, and it brings on other things. And so you want to find yourself in a place where you have shifted out of that place from where you are. So that's what I want to tell you about that one. Emotionally strong people do not keep making the same mistake. So number 6, emotionally strong people do not or don't allow the highs or the lows to control their lives. Oh my God, you can just about imagine Paul when he says, no matter what state I'm in, I've learned whether I'm abased or abound, whether I'm low or I'm high, I've learned to be content in all states. I've just learned to manage to be there. Contentment is a good place. And so, John was sharing with us that, that he said, I don't let my highs take me too high. Success has a tendency to make us complacent. He said, we start to assume everything will automatically stay good. So we rest on our laurels and try to protect what we have. And we can begin to feel entitled, lose perspective, and stop working hard. In the end, the highs and lows can rob us of reality and prevent our activity. And so, I remember the book, Good to Great. And in that book, one of the key things is that they talked about how companies that were good, they got executives, and so there was no further pushing. There was no pushing to the next level. It's like pushing up. And so you say, I'm good. I'm successful. I don't need to do anything else. And so what has happened, or what happens when you find yourself being good, you think back to some of the phones that there was the beeper one, and there was different ones, and Motorola, that's the example that I'm thinking about. And they had the beepers, and so not only the beepers, but the one you could beep and talk into. And so they didn't innovate. And so what happens when you don't innovate? They literally are out of the race. I don't even think there's a Motorola phone in our popular buying options today. I haven't seen one. Samsung and iPhone and now Google dominate the market. And so, if you don't rest in your highs or lows, and lows are just as bad. Sometimes people find themselves in lows and they get stuck there. I had a mistake or I made a failure, just like John said. He says, review it. Don't get stuck there. Don't find your place there. And he said, essentially, 24 hours should be like the max. Okay, celebrate, your emotional high, celebrate it, and then go on. Even your lows, celebrate it or acknowledge it and then go on. So don't spend more than, 24 hours in an emotional state around your success or failure, because that could be detrimental. And so I encourage you today to really look at emotionally strong people. Don't allow the highs or the lows to control their lives. And so I want you to be mindful of that. Okay. Number 7, we're almost to the end of this, and I hope this has been enriching and enlightening to you as it has been for me. Okay. Emotionally strong people understand, appreciate, and grow through their struggles. So I like how he talks about, he used an example, Lolly Daskal, founder of and president of Lead From Within. She said, it's human nature to resist change, particularly when it come in the form of adversity or challenges. Oh my God. But change is inevitable, and developing the traits of resilience help us not only to survive change, but also learn, grow, and thrive on it. Resilience is the capacity to cope with stress and adversity. I have to stop and ask, is there anybody out there dealing with stress, adversity, challenges? I know. I identify with you. I acknowledge. I speak, endurance over your lives, because we all face it. Okay. And that's why people really hate it, because people are like, they get comfortable. It's like, you know what? I like my life. Oh, okay. Let it stay like this. Let nothing happen. Let everybody be good. They just want things to be status quo, but that's not the way. And so here's the thing. Resilience is what we want you to get here today. Resilience. And say, when you think about resilience and you think about a palm tree and you think about, a boisterous storm, the storm that comes along, you think about how the palm tree, how it just flows with the wind, how it flows with the wind. And you think about, how it just bends and it sways, or better example. If you haven't seen that, you think about that one, how they'll have those blow up and they'll have those signs outside of a store, and it'll blow and it blows up and it's got air in it. And it just bounces back. This is how we need to be when we're facing situations in our life. It says resilience is a capacity to cope with the stress and adversity. It comes from believing in yourself and at the same time in something bigger than yourself. And that's really huge. Resilience is not a trait that people are born with. It involves behaviors, thoughts, and actions that can be learned and developed in anyone. So you can develop resilience and you can get through whatever you're facing in life. This is the clincher. Emotionally strong people, let's see here. Emotionally strong people do not expect immediate results. As they approach life, they know that they are in it for the long haul. And they face struggles. They do so with energy and fortitude. And so really being ready, it's like, I got this. I'm coming at this and I got this. They understand that genuine success takes time. Okay? So sometimes we get excited and we just, we have our bumps in the road and we encounter people that create challenge. Just know that it's going to come, and just know that you need to hang in. They try new things and they fail. They run into obstacles, but they persevere. They keep going. They keep working. Oh my God. They focus on the right decisions they need to make and make them quickly. They realize that they may change their direction overnight, but they won't arrive at the destination overnight. They keep their eye on the big picture and they don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't get in a place where like you're stuck or you're feeling sorry for yourself. As the one previous said, emotionally strong people don't feel sorry for themselves. And so don't get in that place. Now, here's the thing about it all. You will fail, especially in the beginning and especially throughout your journey. He says in the beginning, but I'm saying throughout your journey, you're going to fail. And guess what? The beautiful thing about it, you're going to fail and it's going to be okay. It's just going to be perfect. It is what it is. So without resilience, the first failure is also the last because it's final. So if you're not resilient and you don't get back up again, it's your last one. Your first fail is your last one. And you find people who tried something and fail. And you're like, how have you been here the last 10 years? How have you been at the same place? Why are you here? That's because their first failure was their last failure. Okay? Because of the lack of resilience. And let me see, a good word for that. And resilience is the ability to bounce back, essentially. The ability to bounce back. And so are you able to bounce back? Those who are excellent at their work have learned to comfortably coexist with failure. Oh my God, that is just, some people say, okay, if I fail, I'm going to fail. I'm going to fall forward. I'm going to fail forward. I'm going to fall. I'm not going to fall back. I'm but I'm going to fall forward. I mean, let me get a little closer. What did I learn from this? And that's where that reflective piece comes. And so the excellent fail more often than the mediocre. They begin more, they attempt more, they attack more, and mastery lives quietly atop a mountain of mistakes. And that is so, so rich. And just a couple of other points. Being emotionally strong in this situation, you're able to start fresh every day. You're able to forgive yourself. You're able to look beyond your faults. You're able to look beyond even what other people think or say. And in the end, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what people say or think. I mean, you have to live this life. You have to live this journey. And so at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. You have to deal with you. And so John was talking about how he had a bunch of files and he had been collecting papers for 45 years. And so he said he had to make a decision that was an emotional one. And he said those files in the cabinet represented 45 years of intentional collecting thoughts and ideas. And boy, do I know what he means. He says he's not going to look at the files for help. He says, now I just ask God, who made me to keep remaking them. Who made me to keep remaking them. So the files just continue. And so I kind of like what he's doing. He said, I'm discovering that moving from security to risk, from the known to the unknown, requires courage and faith and emotional capacity. And he ends the chapter like that. And this is so beautiful. So now that we've come to the end and I'm almost at the end of this show, the question is, in the past, have you considered yourself to be emotionally strong or emotionally weak person? What do you consider yourself and why? Which of the 7 practices of emotionally strong people are you best at doing? Okay. And then which of the 7 practices of emotionally strong people is most difficult for you and why? And what could you do to improve in that area? And so let me just do a recap before we go today. Emotionally strong people are proactive in dealing with their emotions. Emotionally strong people do not waste time feeling sorry for themselves. Emotionally strong people do not allow others to control their relationships. Emotionally strong people do not waste energy on things that they cannot control. Emotionally strong people do not keep making the same mistakes. Emotionally strong people don't allow the highs or the lows to control their lives. Emotionally strong people understand, appreciate, and grow through their struggles. Wow, this has been an amazing 3-part, I believe this is the 3rd part series, especially for me, because, times, just like I said, times come where you are tested through adversity and or challenges. How will you make it through these events in your life? Will you be emotionally strong or will you become emotionally weak? Will you give in? Well, I I just encourage you to be emotionally strong. I encourage you to stand strong and have strength and faith in the one who keeps us all, God the Father. Just stand firm knowing that you will endure and you will be resilient. Just take on and own that sense of being able to fight back, and you will do well. Well, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing to walk with you through this journey of emotional capacity. I hope that you join me next week. I will, if we don't have a guest speaker, we will continue on with thinking capacity, your ability to think effectively. And that's really powerful too. All of them are really powerful. So it's a lot that we can do for the remainder of the season. So we'll see what we have, and I look forward to, oh my God, tomorrow, which is today, April 1st. We are going into quarter 2 of 2019. I hope that this first quarter has been a blessing to you. I hope that you have been walking by faith, and I hope that you've been stepping into places of growth that you have not yet seen. Thank you so much for being with me. Reach out to me, connect with me, like me, love me, and let's co-labor together, and I look forward to seeing you. This has been your host, Tina Boyle Whyte, on the Bridge Broadcast Show. God bless you. Have a great evening.